by taking roll. Chair Parker is present. Councilmember Allen is not present. Councilmember Hauser is present. Councilmember Mendez is present. Councilmember Sepulveda is not present. Councilmember Sledge, not present. Suara, not present. Taylor is present. Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Toombs is here. Councilmember Welsh is not here, so we've got 5 members present, which is a quorum. We've only got 2 items on the agenda this afternoon, so we're not going to do, and Councilmember Allen has just joined us. Thank you, Councilmember Allen. We won't do any kind of consent agenda. We'll just run through these. So we'll begin with the resolution. This is RS 2022 by Parker and Welsh. Authorizes grants not exceeding $1,775,080.27 from the Barnes Fund for Affordable Housing to certain nonprofit organizations selected for the express purpose of constructing and rehabilitating affordable or workforce housing. Can I get a motion on this resolution? Moved and seconded. Properly moved and seconded. Okay, so this is a resolution. I believe this is related to cost overruns. As usual, I'm going to go to our expert on all things Barnes Fund. Ashley Brown has joined us. So, Ms. Brown, if you would please give us an explanation of the funding in this resolution. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'll just yell.
You should be on now.
Hi, everyone. So this cost overrun supplement is basically a way to help address some of the labor issues as well as some of the cost material issues that we've been hearing from our grantees. All of this funding was approved by the commission in February of 2022, and we've been working since that time to get the contracts together for us to come to council for it. This money was actually made possible by a donation to the Barnes Fund, so this is not from our normal operating budget allotment. This is going to all of our grantees with open units and open contracts. Many of the contracts that are currently in process were delayed due to things that happened during the pandemic, such as lumber prices increasing, labor costs increasing, as well as just general shortages due to downstream petroleum effects, as well as labor intensity because there have not been as many workers available. Obviously, there's a lot of construction going on, so getting a good bid for an affordable housing development takes a little bit more time and effort these days. I've included a financial analysis for all of you on your desk that include which organizations are receiving how much, what their original award was, as well as the number of open contract units they have. All of the units will be protected by a declaration of restricted covenant to ensure that the affordability term of 20 or 30 years, depending on their original contract, remain affordable for that entire time, as well as all of them any rental units are subject to an audit of income certification at any point to ensure that the tenants of those rental units are income restricted by the AMI requirements of the Barnes Fund. So I'm happy to answer any other questions that you might have about the supplement and why we did it, but I hope that all of my prepared materials have helped if you have any general concerns.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Are there any questions regarding the cost overrun appropriation here? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Is that a question, council member, or is that an aye? Okay, we will record Councilmember Allen as an abstention. Again, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any not voting or abstaining aside from Councilmember Allen? Okay, thank you. So I've got 5-4-0 against and 1 abstention. Councilmember Hauser, it was suggested by staff that you might be abstaining. Oh, my apologies. So I have both Councilmembers Allen and Hauser abstaining. Did I see Councilmember Taylor? You're an aye, thank you. Okay, so we have 2 abstentions. Councilmembers Hauser and so 4 and 0 against. Thank you. Okay, and up next, we have bill on second reading. This is 2020-971 by O'Connell, Evans, Sawara, and others. This amends Title II of the Metropolitan Code to create an Office of Housing and Homelessness. And we also have a substitute from the lead sponsor, Councilmember O'Connell, here. So would someone please move the bill for the purpose of discussion? Committee, it's so moved and properly seconded. And I'm going to go to not committee member, but lead sponsor, Councilmember O'Connell, for an explanation of the bill, and then I guess we'll go to a member to move the substitute if the body so elects. But Councilmember O'Connell, would you let us know what's going on here with your bill as soon as I find your button on? Okay, you're going. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and appreciate the recognition. This bill, colleagues know we had a series of pretty urgent discussions last summer, but kind of on the twin tracks of provision of affordable housing and delivery of services to the unhoused in Nashville. The mayor's office decided to go ahead and do one of the things that I think people had long been looking for, which is to move affordable housing staff out of the mayor's office. That has been, there is, at least for now, an interim housing division at the planning department. There is a unified study underway right now. Then colleagues will recall that the administration also put $500,000 in the budget for a study related to effectiveness of our homelessness delivery system, and that is underway at the moment and expected to drop, I think, May 20th. I have already interacted with the survey consultants on the homelessness piece. Where we got to after workshopping the bill with the Continuum of Care and Homelessness Planning Council, with the Barnes Fund Commission, and with stakeholders in the community is with one of the two goals at least achieved in a way that seems to offer some stability. One of the remaining goals is really to have a standalone department. There have been a number of reasons that have come up with this, and so the substitute here transitions this from trying to create a unified Office of Housing and Homelessness to instead an Office of Homeless Services, which would effectively move the Metro Homeless Impact Division out of Metro Social Services and make it a standalone department with an accountability layer, as we see with so many boards and commissions, provided through the Continuum of Care and Homelessness Planning Council's Executive Committee. So would encourage colleagues to support that, get that on the floor. Talking with the administration, there's very likely a chance that once we get to the floor, we'll defer this out to allow the final study to drop, but the goal is to get this approved and established by fiscal year 23. So there is some timeliness to it, and would appreciate colleagues moving the substitute.
Thank you. I'll go to, thank you for that explanation. I'll go to Councilmember Hauser.
I just trying to get some clarity. So we are now no longer talking about an Office of Housing and Homelessness, but just an Office of Homelessness. Is that correct?
My understanding, that would, in the substitute that's in the packet, which no one has moved yet, that is what we'd be talking about, yes.
I just wanted to make sure I understood what he was saying. Thank you.
Okay, would any member like to move the substitute? It's moved and properly seconded. All those in favor of the substitute, please say aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? Okay, so we recommend the substitute. Is there any discussion on the bill as substituted? Thank you. I'll go to Councilmember Allen for discussion on the bill as substituted.
Thank you. Just sort of before we move on to dropping the part about the Office of Housing, since Ms. Hubbard is here, if you can sort of just very briefly address just the functionality of being in the planning department, and if that's working well for you. I think that would sort of help us, decide if we've checked that box off and you're where you need to be, and it's okay for us to turn our focus just to the homeless services.
Thank you. Yes, we'll go to, is it If you would introduce yourself, Ms. Hubbard, with your official title, I don't want to get it wrong. So as we learn more about how the department's working and your office is working, if you'd please introduce yourself with your title.
Thank you. I'm Angie Hubbard. I'm the Director of Housing in the Metro Planning Department. As you know, there was a recommendation from the Affordable Housing Task Force last year to create a functionality in metro government outside of the mayor's office for housing to survive the change in leadership. And my role was a direct response to that, implementing a recommendation to be in the Department of Planning. We have really found great support there. A lot of the recommendations of the task force that we're working on, we really have the infrastructure within planning to build on, but one of the bigger things of being in planning that we're able to get our arms around is the intersection between housing and land use policy. As you know, there are certain limitations about how far we can talk about housing when it's related to land use. But as we are working with the planners on a daily basis and I'm part of leadership discussions, being able to understand how they're linked and how we can approach the development in that city is really very strong relationship for how we want to evolve housing. So I think it's working very well where we are.
Thank you. And I'll go back to Councilmember Allen.
I'm just going to say thank you. I just wanted to make sure we were good to move on. It sounds like we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Allen. I'll sort of concur that I think that was a great move to sort of move that out of the mayor's office, which can vary from as the wind blows every 4 years or so. So I think that was a really smart move by the administration to make that part of planning. We've got the bill before us as substituted. Are there any other discussion on this bill as substituted? All right, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? Okay, we recommend approval of the bill as substituted, 6-4-0 against. Okay, thank you. And that's all we've got on the agenda for affordable housing. Budget and Finance Committee is up next. Thank you all.